fucked you up, didn't it? Damn, I really didn't come prepared with a song this week. You think they think I'm trash?
I know you didn't. Well, we know you're trash. It's not a question.
Well, I'm not trash, though.
Because I was about to sing Happy People.
Actually, you know what? Dedicated to the person who we about to talk about. You can have whatever you like.
Oh, man.
Well.
Yo, I remember when I was younger. Yo, you can't tell me shit. I wanted to have my hat leaning
all the way off.
Like T.I. sold.
When you see me in the street, try, you know me. That used to be like I am no kind of like
rubber band man, stay wild.
Tell him. Now you know what used to be my shit. Bring them out. It's hard to when the background is in the mouth.
When the Swizzy.
That used to be my shit. I mean, like that beat would drop and I would be like, bring them out. Hey, T-I, VIP coming live from the T.I.
You dead ass said it. Yeah, you have dyslexia. I swear.
You're wrong, did I? Oh well. Who cares? Since he's wrong, I'll be wrong too.
Yo, is it just me or T.I.'s hits fire, but the albums were just not good? Like I never like his B-sides. Or was it just me? Well, I never really listened to a T.I. album, so I can't really say.
I feel like I've listened to older T.I. albums, and they were decent bodies of work. But I think that you're listening with the New York ear, so you're biased, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I really like the South music.
There you go. And he is very South.
Different conversation.
He's very South. Well, hello, whiners. It's the head whiners in charge. Present.
Mikey rocks.
It's Nia.Biaa and this bitch. Huh?
Yeah.
I keep telling y'all, when I find out who the fuck I am, coming for you.
Yeah, I got something. You better watch out.
You. There's nothing else to say.
One day she gonna straighten her wig.
I'm gonna take the wig off. That's how you know I don't give a phenuck anymore. You understand? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? You like that, didn't you?
Yeah, let's try to do a better job. Let's not even do all the fluff and bullshit. Let's get into the episode. Because last time we spent like
no, not we. Nothing. You wanted to run down every minute of your weekend. It's not our.
Okay. And whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Well,
whenever you're ready,
since
sweetheart.
you know we're coming live from the VIP, Mr. Tip.
Coming live from the VIP.
Mr. Tip Harris. Is that really his name?
Yeah.
Clifford. Like the big red dog. Well, we're talking about the big red hymen today. Michael, do you know what the hymen is? Class, can you tell me what the hymen is? Please turn and talk with your partner and discuss what a hymen is. Have you been up to date what's going on? Okay, well, T.I., lovely Clifford Harris, went on a podcast. Who cares what the podcast is because they were trash in how they handled it. Actually, I don't remember what the name is. That's really why I'm saying that. I think it's like Ladies and something. That's not helpful, but...
So it was women.
It was women. Which we'll talk about their response very soon because they got a lot of backlash and then they put out like a, we're sorry.
Yeah, on everything, mark my words. Whenever this shit come out, on that day, we will never
This shit's coming out Tuesday. Like it'll be dropping.
I'm just saying, but just that date, mark it. The Wine Night podcast will never.
No, Michael will never. I'm gonna be up there like, yes, I'm master. No, I'm trying.
We'll never apologize for some shit.
I will apologize for being ignorant to something, but I will not. Like, depending on what it is, I probably not.
We're not retracting. We're not gonna say.
They did delete the episode though, which I will give them because if it is harmful information, now say like if I say something harmful, I will take it down. Like I will real life take that down. Because I wouldn't want someone to keep something up there about like black people about that. So like, why would I keep something harmful I said up there?
All right.
You just out here. You don't want to apologize for nothing, huh? Fuck cancel culture.
Don't. Like, it had,
I feel
it
you. No,
had,
I really do. I really feel you. I'm just saying, in particular, if it's extremely harmful, like if I really said something left field, then I would be willing to take it down. I would. I would.
I hear you.
Okay,
But
so moving forward.
go
So
ahead.
he's on this podcast, right? So I don't know how they get on
Hmm.
the topic of virginity. I really don't care how they got on the topic of virginity, but they were there, right? So he basically goes on there and he says that his 18-year-old daughter, um, is it, I don't know how to say her name. I can't see it from this far. I'm trying to read the computer and I'm like halfway laying down. So it's not really working. However,
They can
his
tell the
18-year-old daughter,
story.
okay, she is still a virgin right now. And that they both take yearly trips to the
According to
gynecologist. No,
him.
no, no. They take trips to the gynecologist to to check her hymen, right? So let's pause there. Do you know what a hymen is, Michael?
I think
Can
so.
you tell the people what you is before we move forward?
I don't know what it looked like. I just imagined it to be like a little, I don't know, something with blood in it. It's all I know is that's the shit that exploded when I fucked a girl when I lost my
Wow, that
virginity.
was very
Yeah.
colorful. Exploded. Is that what you want to classify your first time as? Like it exploded? Okay. Hymen is commonly known as or referred to as the cherry. Is that what you're trying to get at? Okay.
Sure.
Anyway, so he says that they go to the gynecologist to check her hymen. So, um, a lot of people were angry at the fact that he said this. One, because checking the hymen really doesn't tell you much. um at all. It doesn't tell you whether you've had sex or not. Hymen can be broken in.
That's why I said according to
Well,
him.
you know what I'm saying. So like a hymen can be broken in 1,000 different ways. You don't necessarily have to have sex, right? And even if you did have sex, doesn't necessarily mean your hymen was broken. If that makes sense. So people began the outrage there.
Shout out to the little dick niggas.
Wow, that's nothing to do. Okay, anyway, so people were very upset about that part in particular. But then he goes on because it's never just that. He goes on to say, um,
Expeditiously, he goes on.
expeditiously, he goes on to say that he goes to the doctor's office, and now I'm getting ready to quote. He says, the doctor is like, sir, to share information. I'm like, Deja, is that what it says? I think that's what her name is. They want you to sign this so we can share information, he said. Is there anything you would not want me to know? See, doc, ain't no problem. So basically, he's bullied his daughter to tell the doctor that it's okay for her to share her medical records with him. So then people got into even more of an outrage because not only is he incorrectly trying to check whether or not she is sexually active, um, but he's also bullying her to tell this doctor, like, to share her information, which is like a wild thing, especially considering that she's 18 and does not have to do any of that shit. So that's what happened. Would you like to share your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts. Number one, because my first thought was, why don't you just ask her?
And like I don't know, because if you really had such a great conversation, I guess, like, or not conversation, but a relationship with your daughter, you would be
Relationship.
able to just
You can
have
just
that
ask.
my mom, as awkward as she would do it, and she would like she was wow, she would wait until I get in the car, lock the doors, and start driving and be like, are you having sex? So it's not like I can go anywhere unless I'm jumping out physically out of the car. But I at least was comfortable enough to be like, nah, I'm not having sex yet. Not planning on busting it
Yeah.
open, just not right now. Feel me? Like, if you have that
Yeah.
relationship with your kid, why are you pressuring her? Not only like taking her to the gynecologist, because that can be awkward as fuck by itself, but pressuring her to like make sure the doctor is the one. So you don't even trust her enough to give you the information that you are looking for, whatever the fuck that's supposed to do anyway. Because her mouth still
Hmm.
works, and her ass,
And
and
I,
her
and I
hands,
think
and everything else that you can use sexually. So I don't understand, just because somebody's not physically penetrating, which we still don't know, physically penetrating her, doesn't mean that she ain't out here still like enjoying a healthy sex life.
It's a fact. I'm just saying, like, because the first thing I think of is, well, I'll just ask her. But then I think, then that goes into the next thing, and then it kind of gets into the why we even have this podcast. That disconnect between the older generation and now. For them, they didn't talk about money. They didn't talk about sex. They don't talk about all those things were like taboo. Our generation is just like, fuck it, I'll talk about it. And it's like there's a disconnect, and it's like just ask, like just talk, make it normal, make
But
it
I mean, like
a
I think
thing.
my
Like,
biggest issue, and I think a lot of other people's issue, is that like this man is forcing his like views, and he's
oh, we're gonna get to
I'm
that part.
sorry.
I'm
All
gonna get to
right,
that
well
part in a
let me
second.
slow
I'm gonna get to
down
that part in a
because
second.
your girl's a little revved up about this one. This one right here, we got one. It's another one. No.
So now after those two things, then I kind of really got into like, okay, like here's what's wrong about this situation. Number one, you're going about it the wrong way. Like you are unfairly violating someone's privacy and then just their rights. But then when you really think about it, like how frequently does that happen in the black community, and how much do we laugh about it? And how often do our black
Rip
parents
up
open
mail.
up our mail? That is a
My
federal
mother be like,
crime.
"Oh, you got to
That is a
check. How do you
federal
know that?
crime.
How do you know I got to check in the mail?"
We have, and then some people's parents go a step further and go cash that shit and be like, "You owed
Oh
me."
no, that's no, we fighting.
Like,
Don't touch my money. Like that's wild.
but tell me that does not seem out of this world. That
It's not
seems realistic for the
unfathomable.
black family.
Fathomable.
Yeah, it's some. Yeah, right. So with that being said, it's like I think what that talks to me about when I see Ti doing that, it talks about something that needs to be addressed in the black community when we talk about boundaries and understanding. Yes, yeah, it is your child, but they are also an adult.
And she is
At
technically
some
grown. Like
point,
that's the one thing I was like,
not and that's we can't even say technically. We have to stop saying technically.
no,
That
she's
person is
grown. You're
grown.
right.
They can go to war. They can go to war. Like even when we and
She
the reason
can vote now.
and
Like let her
the reason
go.
why yeah, the reason why I was so adamant about saying not technically is because even saying technically still leads itself to that idea that like, oh, you're still looking. No, like stop. It blows my mind when people keep calling 18-year-olds kids. We call students in our colleges, universities kids. These are fucking grown-ups. They take out loans of thousands of dollars. These are
She's probably not
grown-ups, like
taking
in
out
their name.
$1,000
Like,
loans, but I mean, I feel you. She's rich as fuck. The family is doing well.
you know what I mean? The family's doing it. They get into the bag expeditiously.
Expeditiously.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
just about to randomly start saying that word throughout the rest of this podcast.
It's a fact. How many times we can play that
All
bitch a
right,
day?
bet. I'm about to start
But
counting. That's about the fourth time. So, all right, bet.
but yeah. So that was the next thing that came to my mind. I was just like, man, like the black community, really needs to understand boundaries. Then the last
I feel
thing
like, especially like when it
that came
comes
to
to
my
men and
mind.
their daughters, I'm
Oh,
sorry for cutting you off, but I'm not sorry. When it comes to men and their daughters, they feel like they have some type of like ownership over it, and I understand like the historical
well, men
implication.
have ownership over
No, but
women in
that's what I'm saying.
general.
I understand like the historical, like where that comes from. With the father having to sell the daughter over, and her, being a bride and all this other stuff, whatever, whatever. Historically, get it, got it. It's 2013. You cannot like stop someone from doing. It's
13.
2019. What did I say? 13. Wow, I
Yeah,
wish it was
13.
2013 so I could do a few things over again, change a couple things, but um. But just like in general, why are we still out here trying to police women's bodies? If she wants to be sexually active, why Shorty can't? Because
Fuck
I
the whole
mean, like
block. Yeah.
they also brought up an old episode of his sons, and they found out that he was having sex, and it was very casually like, wow, that's crazy. And he was like, yeah, I admit that him having sex is different than my daughter's having sex, and I don't understand. This man can create life. Like he can enough that ass. A woman cannot create life on her own. So it is up to him to create life. And we're just like, yeah, that's cool. That's fine. And yet she can't have her vagina penetrated if she wants to. So he can go around having sex. And I believe that he was younger than his 18-year-old daughter. So he's cool, but she's
Yeah.
not. We got to look at the double standard and how fucked up that is. Like, you might not want her to have sex, which is a feeling I guess all parents would understand. I wouldn't necessarily want my kids having sex too young anyway, because it holds a lot, right? However, I can't bullshit and have expectations for one and not the other. He was saying
Yeah.
that he would put notes on her door, gyno, 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. How pressuring is that? Like, how invasive is that for you to be doing some
Yeah,
shit
like
like
you don't
that?
think she
And you don't check
knows?
your son's dick? Like, do you take him to the doctor? I need to know, did he ejaculate? Like, what's up? Like, you're not you're not doing that. So why are you doing that to her?
Yeah,
That's
doing that.
bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. And then the last thing that came to my mind when I went here about this was, it is so ironic that the man who is leaving these notes on the door, who is checking to make sure his daughter is not having sex and all these stuff, has, I don't know what's going on now, but has routinely cheated on his wife and the mother of his children. So it's not like we have someone here who's practicing abstinence. It's not like someone here who's like the pinnacle of morality or anything like that. We got a trash person
Yeah.
morally. How? But then when you really think about T.I. as an individual, like, this is just about right. Because when you think about how he's always throwing stones from a pulpit at other people, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
I like.
You know
I'm
what I mean?
really one day we're really gonna have a conversation as to why we keep holding him to such a high regard and keep listening to him. I think because he talks slow and says expeditiously so much, like we just like let him have that. And I'm just wondering when we're gonna realize that he's fake trash. Like, I'm here for everything that he tries to do for the black community, but the way he treats women and the way his double standards are is like something that definitely should be like examined and looked at a little bit more, because I, like you said, I
It's the
can't I
same.
can't agree with somebody who's out here fucking and sucking everything that moves and disrespecting your wife, and then you want me to believe that your daughter should be a virgin simply because you don't want her to like have sex. I like, what does virginity do? Like, a person's value is not in her vagina, so what exactly are you trying to prove? If she wants to be wild, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean, then like that's what she's gonna do. Like, I don't understand. It's sex, my guy. Like, it's just sex. It's just, I can understand if she wanted to marry every other person. I'd be like, oh, hold on, let's, my money attached to that. Let's calm down. My name's attached to that. But I can't. I don't get it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I want to know what the fear is. Is it a fear of her getting contracting the disease? Is it a fear of
Nope.
her getting pregnant, or is it just this taboo thing of people just having sex? I don't know what it is, but I just know I don't want you doing it.
Like, you
What's
have
the
fun
problem? Like,
doing it,
and that's my thing.
obviously.
Is
Why she can't have
clearly,
why she can't go have some
clearly,
fun and do the same thing?
clearly. So it's like, and like I said, that's my big thing. It's like, I'm I hate the holier than thou complex that a lot of people have now. And you talk about, like, you ask, like, when are we gonna stop holding people like T.I. in high regard? The same time we stop holding people like Charlamagne in high regard.
Oh, we out here
It's like
getting
what
them
ends up
out of here, huh?
it's nah, but it's, you know me,
No,
I
I'm
don't
not
care
saying
for
in that choice.
nobody.
I'm
But
saying like we just naming all
yeah,
the names today.
yeah.
We getting them all out of
No,
here.
yeah, because my thing is this: is like, you know me, I'm the first to separate content from person. I will listen to these people things in a second. I will consume their content in a second. And I will also tell you like what I think. You know what I mean? And I was just talking to two of my friends about this. I was like, look, like, I get really frustrated when people get placed on a platform, they get placed in the high regard simply for the content that, or the entertainment that they provide, as opposed to their actual ability or what is actually coming out of their mouth. So when you think about Charlamagne, he's not. He's been unofficially, he's like the black interviewer now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The way LL Cool J was the black host, Charlamagne's like the black
Uh-huh.
interviewer now,
Hmm.
right? So with that being said, but like, how did he get to that place? It's kind of like a self-proclaimed thing, but it's a slap in the face to the black journalists who study this craft, who are actually good at it. Charlamagne is at best a very average
You
interviewer.
think so?
You know what I mean? He's a if you listen, it's not free, it's not flowing, it is not. When you think about interviewing as a craft, and you think about the people who really study this and really know how to probe and go to school, It's not
Mm-hmm.
there. You know what I
I
mean?
wouldn't know because
And then
I don't.
also
I mean, I frequent the Breakfast Club every
I
once
mean,
in a while,
me
but
personally, it's just
I'm
maybe
not a. I don't really watch his interviews.
it's it's very like ask a question, let them answer. Boom, ask a question. It's not very conversational. You know what I mean? And like when I look at the best interviewers in the past and stuff like that, for example, take David Letterman. Like if you watch him
Mention a black
interview someone or
person.
something like that, huh? Mention a black person.
I don't know what that man's name is when he interviewed Jay-Z after 444, but that was a really great interview. Was
Elliot
that his
Wilson.
name? They were sitting in a white room. I just remember him being a black guy. No, he was dope.
I don't remember.
Uh,
But it's I think I know who you're talking
I
about, but
can't
I
remember
can't think
his
of the name
name
off the top
either.
of my head.
I'm just saying I don't like white equivalent.
Okay. All right.
Just personally, I would like. I mean, we're
Nah.
speaking about black people. I would like. You know what I mean? Like, white people are not the pinnacle of excellence. I was just saying. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Or even
All right.
any other person of color. Angie Martin. Oh, is that her name? Yes,
Angie
she's a great
Martinez.
interviewer, from what I remember. She does.
Yeah, she's a good,
She
great
does a great
interviewer.
job.
Yeah. I mean, shit, Angela Yee,
Okay.
like, is interesting. The person that studied it, it's actually, but always gets drowned out on the Breakfast Club. But that's a very different conversation. Um, but with that being said, it's like this person gets placed on a high platform. However, like they're not qualified. Like this person is like as a black leader, but says extremely problematic things, extremely ignorant to a lot of things that plight the black community, and even after they tell him that what he's saying is hurtful, continues to do it because just cares about what they think. So with that being said, it's like why, like you said, why do we put these people there? But it's because what we hold near and dear to our hearts and what we value is just not in the right place. When you look at someone like T.I., it's like he says a bunch of cool words, and you know what I mean. He's that I like that double tap. Yeah, T.I. is a black leader. He's down for the cause, but how much is he really doing to hurt the cause too, and which one is
I
more?
think sometimes like
You know
people
what I
think
mean?
that, like you said, it is. It's like it seems as if there are people who are down for the black liberation with an asterisk, if that makes sense. So it's like,
But it's always
yeah,
that.
but
It's
that's the
always that.
problem, right? So Ti is here for the black liberation.
Even us,
Well, I mean, no, I won't say I'm perfect. I won't.
we have
I'm not gonna say
biases.
that I'm
We
not.
both have
However, I
biases.
would say the difference between me and someone like Ti is, regardless of how my knee jerk reaction might be to certain things, I will still always cape for them if they're for black people, regardless. Outside of coonery, let's say outside, even them should be liberated. They should have that right to do that. Outside of my knee jerk reaction, you like you'd have to specifically point out a time where I was like, I'm not fucking with that black person, or like whatever, that because of some type of identity. Like that's not my thing. Does that make sense?
Fair enough. I can't think of a reason right now, so I can't
I'm just
argue
saying
on it.
I'm just
But
saying, like, in the sense of like what Ti, like, you are want to educate and all this other stuff, and propel the black community and things of that nature, but what does you saying this do? It does not help. If anything, it holds on to the ideas that we are trying to break, especially in the black community, of what it means for a girl to want to have a healthy sex life. Like a girl who's having sex or have had sex before quote unquote 18, because whatever the fuck 18 is supposed to mean as a number, not necessarily like wisdom, um that she's fast, right? I hear that a lot of time. Oh, she was fast. No, she's not fast. She enjoys sex, and that's all that is. When you say certain things like that, when you bring certain ignorance, are you actually helping or are you actually bringing it down? And that's where
one thing, oh
I'm
my
just
bad.
saying, I've said this before. I'm tired of the old people out there telling us young people what it is and what it's not. Like, granted, they have lived experiences and they hold a lot of weight and value, but the problem is that they hold a lot of weight and value, even when they're wrong, if that makes sense. So it's like, how do we cipher through the bullshit? And I'm over it. Like, I'm over it. Like you said, Charlemagne, for instance, over his ignorance to a lot of things like the trans community, or women or any fucking thing, and yet he keeps it, he's the spokesperson somehow. How did he get to this point? I don't know. That's his brilliance, I guess.
But you talked about like this doesn't line up with the black community, but like I think one thing though, in defense, the black community is too dynamic to say that like a person's not. There's people out there that probably agree with
There were
him,
a lot of
black people.
people and people of color who agreed with him, and what they said basically was, well, you don't want your daughter to be too, or you don't want your, like, you don't want her to be too fast, or you don't want her to be too any of those things. Again, what I would encourage those people to do is challenge themselves and look at how they are viewing young men, because these young women aren't fucking themselves, right? So they got to be fucking someone. 9 times out of 10 is going to be a peer, correct? So why is it that we are not looking at young men and saying we don't want them to be to this, we don't want them to be to that? It's because of the stigma that we, especially as black people, have put, or, well, and obviously white people have put on young black women. If her body is this, then she's to that. If she acts like this, then she's to this. We always try to police black women, and I'm tired of it. Try to police how they speak, try to police their attitude, their sexuality, all these different things. And I real life am over it. If she's not harming herself, if she is being smart, and when I'm saying smart in terms of using protection and making sure that she's good that way, if she doesn't want to have any kids, making sure she's on some type of contraception or using some type of contraception to make sure that she's okay, her body's okay, and she's being responsible for the next person's body, then that's all I personally will have to care about as a parent, because we gotta let it go. Personally, that's what I think.
I feel you. I feel you. You said that the way the people that were in the podcast handled it wasn't well. You want to talk
So
about that?
their initial reaction was to laugh, and they laughed. And from what I can recall, they kind of like laughed it off and like moved forward and things of that nature. They never really like corrected his behavior and or like what he said. So they ended up putting out like a statement saying, we do not feel this way, we do not support how he feels, and we're sorry for anybody who we hurt. We know that this is like not correct in any type of way. However, like, it was a knee-jerk reaction, like, in the moment. I am not saying this verbatim, this is all off the top of my head, but basically they were like, we're sorry for not addressing this correctly. And I had an issue with that as well.
I don't think they
I'm
had
sorry,
to.
what?
I don't think they had to. Now that I know what they apologized for, I don't think they were wrong. Like, I don't think if someone comes on my show, I'm the like social justice police. Like, that's not my job. I'm here to just get
See,
the
that's
person to talk.
difficult because it's
However,
like,
I respond.
if platform, what am I using my platform for, right? I'm on here so that it's a safe space for us to have a conversation.
There's no such. No, my opinion is no
Okay,
such
yeah,
thing as
that's
a
a
safe
different
space.
conversation for a different time. But what I'm saying, this is a space where we sit here and we have these conversations, hopefully to educate or at least open the door for conversation for people to do certain things. So personally, if T.I. was there, I'd been like, that's fucked up, right? In about 17 different ways. Not only did you bully her to share her confidential, like, law-abiding information, but you're holding on to a bunch of different ideas that like no longer ring true and shouldn't ring true for your daughter. And it doesn't seem like it's because she was liking things on, I think it was Twitter. Basically, women were like, yo, what T.I.'s actions are fucking gross. And she's like, 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 and that's basically what her other likes have, it mirrored the same sentiment, is he's being evasive and he's being like domineering and all these other things. So it's like, she didn't agree with it. So why exactly are you obviously are not having conducted like what's the word I'm trying to use? You're not conversations with your daughter. None of that like actually matters. You might be telling her what she's gonna do, but that's not having a conversation. That's just telling her what she's gonna do. I'm guessing he's holding some type of leverage over her head. Maybe she doesn't get the money, or maybe she doesn't get to, drive the Bugatti or whatever rich people do. With their kids. There's something he must be holding over as if she needs to share this information. Because if my dad showed up and he was like, you need to tell me this, I'm gonna look at him like he's crazy. I look at my mother that way like too. Yeah, no. What? No. I don't think so.
Hmm. Yeah, me personally, I was just going back to like what I first brought up, like as far as them having to say something. Like it could be both. Like I think as a podcast, you don't have to do anything. I don't think. I just my person because then when you talk about having open conversation, that's part of it. I think when people talk about let's have an open forum, but you only want certain conversations take place or only certain ideas to be able to come out, then you don't really have an open forum. You know what I mean? So it's really just, in my opinion, you should just let people say whatever they want to say, and like you can call it out, but you don't have to. That's my big thing. That you don't have to. I don't think they should have had to
I
apologize for
don't. I mean,
nothing.
but I think that a lot of
Like,
people feel like maybe they actually like we never really understand or we never really take this into consideration. But maybe they actually felt bad. Like they actually did feel bad that they let this go out and they felt this way. I don't know, and that's why they took it down. I don't know. I don't want to just assume that people were pressured into doing it because you never really know. If that's not how they felt, then that's not how they felt. If that makes sense. I don't know. Just playing devil's advocate.
I feel you.
Like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I personally, if I had to, if I was saying, if I put something out there that was harmful to people, then yeah, I would take it down because that's not what I'm trying to use my platform for. And I don't think that's what they were trying to use their platform for. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
I don't know.
All right.
I
Well,
don't like the whole. I just don't like the idea in general. Like, yeah, you don't have to. I don't want to police what anybody says, but I feel like it's just like it's. I feel like it's my duty to at least be like, let me tell you how that's not okay, and where you go after that is your business. But you're on my podcast, so I want to at least try to educate you. Where you take that education is up to you. But I feel like I'd be doing a disservice not only to myself and what I feel like I believe, but also to you. Because why would I let you, another fellow black person, just be out here looking crazy? Because what you just said is fucking crazy. Question: would you do the same thing with your daughter?
what
Yes.
what Ti's doing? I can't imagine myself doing that.
Why?
One, that's too much work,
So
and
fucking
two,
lazy.
like only so much work, and then two, it's just like I'm all about autonomy. Like if I believe that if I instilled the right principles in you and I modeled the right things, I don't need to do that. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna do whatever you want to do. Because I know I did whatever I wanted to do.
Hmm.
So I don't. Me doing that is just gonna make it worse.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like suppressing her like want to have sex, if that makes sense. Because I felt like for especially when you're younger, like half the reason why you do some of the stupid shit you do is because you're not supposed to be doing it. Like, what
Pretty
happens
much,
if we
yeah.
just let our kids have sex?
They're gonna try it one time, realize it's trash, and then
Because your first couple times is trash. Like, it's just
trash.
it's nothing
Yeah,
you can do about that. So it's trash. Like, so then
yeah.
if we didn't put such a like big pressure on kids
I
not to
don't give a
have
fuck.
sex, then like what would happen?
Like yeah, and then even if they do it, I'll be like, how was it? I'll be like, yeah, it wasn't what I thought it was gonna
I
be. I'll be
bet
like, yeah,
it's
all right,
messy,
let's
ain't
go.
it? It's nasty, ain't it?
Yeah,
It's not
that's
fun.
it.
It's not a
Nasty
fun
and shit.
experience at all.
I mean, so yeah,
Well, maybe it
so
could be. Who
I mean,
knows?
you got two. Yeah, you. But after that, you got two options now. You can keep doing it, or you stop. It's
Hmm.
up to you.
I would want
Yeah.
my kid to be comfortable enough to tell me, like, that they wanted to have sex, so I can make sure that they're good. Because one, that there's two things I want my kid to be in life is safe and healthy. So, like, I would tell my kid the same thing my mother told me. Listen, if you go out there and that's what you decide to do, that's what you decide to do. Because, like you said, I really can't stop you. Like, I can have rules and restrictions, but if you really got something, especially if it's my child, I know you're gonna find a way to do that shit. So
Yeah.
my thing is, if you're not safe, say you have a baby or you become pregnant, understand that you are still graduating, not only high school, but you will be tracking your baby around your college campus. So think wisely about how you're going to be taking care of your baby and going to school. And I remember my mother said it to me. I was like, damn, that might be hard to do. I just won't have sex. I think I'll wait. Because I was just too scared to be pregnant because that's a lot of fucking work. So that was like my whole thing. For my kids, I just want you to be safe. I don't want you to go out here and get something because especially when you're kids, you're not doing anything right. So, like, I don't want you to contract something. I would prefer you not to have a baby. And if you do, I don't know how you're going to take your baby to 8 periods. It's a lot. How you going to breastfeed? Like, how you going to, like, because I'm not taking care of your kid for you. So, like, I don't know how you're going to do that either. So, gotta
Couldn't
figure
tell
this
you.
shit out. Okay. That's
There's
that. That's
that.
all that's the word. Expeditiously.
So, I appreciate y'all kicking it with us. As we always, you know, you already know what it is. Follow us at the White Nine Pod on Instagram.
Like and
Subscribe, like,
share. Oh my
comment,
gosh, yes.
share. Definitely share with your friends if you hear something you like. And also, like we always say, like, there's a microphone for you too. So if you want to join us, you want to talk with us, anything, just let us know. We'll find a way to make that
We
happen.
always do. That's the motto. We always
All
do.
right.
All right, y'all. Peace, love, and happiness.
Peace and love.